Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be comparing Loveable, we're going to be comparing Replit, and we're going to be comparing Bubble. Okay, so we're going to be comparing these three softwares, and basically you can kind of call them no-code tools in a way. And I'm going to preface this by saying in a way, because Loveable and Replit, they both use code to build your apps for you. You guys know that I use Replit. I have a subscription to Replit. I pay for Replit. I utilize Replit. It's great. I also have used Loveable, and quite recently, not like a year ago or 7 months ago, quite recently. The technology that's used within Loveable and Replit are very similar. You know, from the AI models, they're pretty much the same. The only thing that's really going to differ is your cost. The only thing that I'm going to mention here is not so much the intricate cost between Loveable and Replit, but I'm going to compare them to Bubble, because a lot of people are thinking, like, should I go with Bubble, no-code tool, not that much work necessarily, and build an app that way? And I'm going to advise against Bubble, okay? First off, let's go ahead and tackle pricing, okay? Bubble is expensive, and let's just get this clear. They say this is the plan for launching your app, $29, okay? You look into this, there's a lot of features that don't come with the standard larger accounts. And what I mean by that is if you're going to pay $29, right, you can't actually take the app with you anywhere. It has to be hosted on the Bubble platform. Now, Bubble server costs are expensive. Now, here's the thing. Here's the little caveat. This is paying annually for Bubble. Pay monthly, $32 a month. Now you tack on a little bit more money, right? You know, that $3 doesn't seem like a lot, but after you pay taxes and you pay for the year, right? You pay month to month on a yearly basis. That's like what? An extra, let's say $7, $5, $6 a month, depending on what state you're in the United States, that is. You multiply that out by 12, that's a lot more money. That's first off. Second off, it's much easier to find developers who use Replit and Loveable as opposed to using Bubble at a cheaper price. You can find, developers on Bubble, but it costs more. I tested Bubble. I used Bubble. I had some apps and infrastructures built, and I actually didn't like it overall. I'm not trying to hate on Bubble. They have a lot of features, and they've been doing really well since their beginning journey. You know, back when AI kind of didn't really exist for us and people were building these no-code tools with Bubble. But on the same level, you do have to have some coding knowledge. Like, you have to have knowledge of how infrastructures work, how ideologies are kind of put to place, how APIs work. You have to know how these things work with Bubble. And a lot of people, kind of praise Bubble as like the best thing. But to be honest, the AI platforms, when you have this, essentially a system where you can communicate with AI and AI will effectively build the app for you, it really outweighs it quite dramatically, and the price is cheaper, significantly cheaper. I don't know how much Bubble costs exactly. I think it's like $20 a month. Let's see here. Let's go to pricing. I think it's like $19 a month. Yeah, $20 a month. See, and Replit is not that more expensive. I think the cheapest plan is like $25 a month, so it's pretty similar. The thing that's different about this is I paid a flat $180 cost for the year on Replit. Will they eventually increase the price? Is possible, right? It's still significantly cheaper than this price for Bubble. Loveable is still significantly cheaper. Now, what you can do is you can deploy your apps on Replit and Loveable, and this is the big point, just as you can deploy your apps on Bubble. The only thing is they cost significantly more on Bubble to deploy. Your server costs are going to be greater. If you want to build more than, 2 websites or 3 different SaaS apps or 4 different SaaS apps, you're going to be going up the line here. Look at this. To run 5 different apps, or 5 different app editors rather, which is essentially like the infrastructure for building the app, you're paying $399 a month. That's a lot of money, right? 2 app builders, $134. Here, for 1 live app, right, or essentially 1 live published product, $32 a month. If you really want to expand, no offense, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, although it's a great software, it's not financially let's just say, ideal, okay? Especially for somebody who's just starting up. You know, to shell out this kind of money, especially somebody who wants to test things, test their waters, build all kinds of different apps, maybe even a suite of different apps, 10, 12 websites, you can't really do that with this because it costs a lot more, right? And that's kind of the problem. They really, really kill you on price. That's the first thing. Also, second thing that I kind of find not ideal for me, and trust me guys, I've used all of these. I don't need to log into accounts to show you. You can see my past videos if you don't believe me. But Bubble has this kind of drag and drop infrastructure to build ideologies when it comes to software. So let me show you what I mean. So if I type in here Bubble drag and drop, right, just do a basic search, and we pull up like some videos or something like that, you'll see how these apps kind of work in a system like this. It's kind of like this, if you guys have ever used an app like make.com or something like that, to me, I just find them confusing. And like things like this, I find it confusing. It's much easier just to go with the code. And more importantly, if you're utilizing Loveable or Replit, you don't need to necessarily do the actual work. You can communicate with AI to build the stuff for you. So my overall opinion is Loveable and Replit are kind of on the similar level. I pay for Replit currently, right? But if you pay for, Bubble, it's not like you're missing out on anything. It's not like you're, you know what I mean? It's a bad situation for you. It's really good, right? Bubble is going to be my last on the tier list. In fact, you know, if we go back in time, like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, when, like I said, AI wasn't a thing, coding through AI wasn't a thing, Bubble would have been on the top of my list, the functionality, the usage, despite the cost. But at this point into the game, guys, you have so much more freedom with these AI-based tools, and there's a lot more effectiveness to it. And that's kind of the reason why I use them. So, I mean, I don't have a dog in this fight. I use Replit. I don't use Loveable currently. I have used it, and I used to use Bubble. But Bubble is just a little bit outdated once again, and the concept of being someone who doesn't need to code to create an app is now pretty much unanimous with all platforms, not just Bubble. In fact, I would say it takes more technical adherence to utilize Bubble than it does take to utilize Loveable or Replit. You might not ever know how to code with Loveable and Replit, and you can still build some sort of app. You might not even know how to read a single line of code. Okay, you don't understand what the words are, but you could still build something. With Bubble, you have to have some sort of knowledge on, once again, how you're going to set up the infrastructure of the app and how you're going to command it to be built and certain activities to be performed. You're going to have to set up APIs. You're going to have to set up all these kind of things, which to me personally is a little bit of a headache. I prefer not to do those kind of things. And also, like I said, being that the cost is what it is, I don't recommend it. Now, do I hate on Bubble? No, absolutely not. I don't want to send any kind of negative energy towards the company. I think overall they provide a product for a certain group of people, and it was perfect at one point in time. I do believe, unfortunately, that it's a little bit outdated and overpriced, and that's just my opinion. So I'll leave a link in the description to Replit if you want to go ahead and get access to Replit. You can get $10 free when you join Replit. I'll also leave a link in the description to Bubble if you want to test it out. And, you know, hell, if you want to use Bubble as well, I'll leave a link in the description there. It's not my personal recommendation, but you could use it if you want to. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Peace out. Bye.